Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Amy. Welcome to Home Sweet Gardens. I live in Northwest Missouri, growing zone 6A. I haven't done a garden tour in a few weeks. To be honest, there hasn't been a whole lot going on, and I felt like I was just kind of, I don't know, saying the same thing over and over and showing the same small plants or plants that weren't doing a lot at that point. But it's been a few weeks, and there's been a few changes. One of them is the sunflowers above me here. As you can tell, they are huge. I am about 5'10". If I'm standing up here close to them like this, you can tell just how big they are. And I don't know if you can hear that, but the bees are just all over it. So if you have the opportunity or a place that you can plant sunflowers, I'm telling you right now, they've brought in more bees than probably any plant I have planted. But the bumblebees too, just really big bees. Lots of them, they're everywhere. And you know, bumblebees, if you get near their nests and stuff, can be pretty aggressive. But I've not, knock on wood, had any issues really with them bothering me or being aggressive. I can pick my vegetables and stuff while they're there buzzing around, and they don't really seem to bother me. Of course, I'm not swatting at them or anything, but they don't seem to be as aggressive as what some bees are. If you're like me, you're kind of in that transition time as far as summer to a fall garden. I've pulled some things out. I've gotten some other stuff growing. We haven't had any rain in quite some time. It's been very, very dry. Yesterday we got a little under an inch, and then today we've gotten a little under a ½ inch, and that's all we've had. Oh man, in probably a month, I'd say. It's been so dry. I actually had to hook up the soaker hoses to try and water, because it just was cracking and everything. It was crazy. So without further ado, we'll head out here and I'll show you what's growing. Right, so the first thing is my climbing roses. They were really small. If you recall, they weren't ever taller than like the bottom of that first rung and whatnot. They've really grown quite a bit, especially this branch here. They're doing really well. They're very happy. Gosh, look at that. You can see, and that's from continuous watering, but you see the cracks in the ground right there. That just shows how stinking dry it's been out. My sad corn, it was eaten off by, I'm assuming, a deer. It was completely mowed off, and then it grew again and grew tassels, but it was never able to put on an actual ear of corn. It's kind of a bummer, because it was that glass gem from Baker Creek, and I wanted to at least just have one to see what it looked like, and I didn't get any. And I have a few stunted sunflowers. These are the mammoth sunflowers, but that one's really good right there. I'm going to dry it out and get the seeds from it so I can have some sunflower seeds. The thunder's going. My Roselle Reds, haven't put flowers on just yet, but they are getting tall and pretty. An elephant ear. And then this is the other climbing rose that I have. And it's putting on flowers. It's a really unusual rose. It smells amazing. You can tell everything's still very green. So strawberries are typical for what they're doing this time of year. They're pretty browned up. This is what I think is cool. I planted these, and they weren't supposed to be this big. I thought they weren't supposed to get over like maybe, I don't know, 3 foot, something like that. And they're just monsters, and so many sunflowers. I didn't realize that they'd put so many on it. Check that out. Let's see if I can get close enough to them. Do you see them? Oh, a little bumblebee. They are just all over these sunflowers. I've got some radishes going. Oh man, I don't remember what kind they are. I'll put it on the screen when I get back to the house. Look them up. They're the mild ones though. These are the dragon tongue beans. I'll show them a little bit more on the other side here. My carrot that I've let go to seed. So it's huge. I was getting ready to pull them off and then it rained, so I have my clematis, which I thought was dead, started blooming. This right here is a volunteer tomato. These are called Brad's Atomic Grapes. Brad's Atomic Grape tomatoes. They're very odd. They get these like funky psychedelic colors to them. Kind of odd, isn't it? And those of you that have watched my channel, you know I can't stand tomatoes. But I felt bad because I kept pulling them, so I've actually got two. The other one is growing in the sunflowers there. So these are the dragon tongue beans. This is what they look like. They're very slender pod. Seems like no matter how big they are, they really don't have a lot of seed in them. They're very mild. I actually like them raw. So if you're looking for a really mild green bean, and when you cook them, they turn completely this yellowish color that's on here. Let's see if I can get focus. Come on, buddy, focus. There we go. So anyway, they're a little different. My patio. Then this okra. Oh my gosh. Look at how big it is. I actually pickled some okra the other day, one jar of it. A friend of mine really likes it, so I did it. Found a recipe online. I told her if she didn't like it, don't blame me because I don't eat it, so she's got to let me know if she likes it. But if you have a good pickled okra recipe, send me a link to it or put it in the comments for me, because I said I don't eat it, and so, but if it's a good one and people like it, I don't have a problem with canning it and giving it to them, because I don't want the plants to go to waste. Not too many bell peppers on here. I had topped them, so it took them a while to bush back out, but they were all stem and hardly any leaf, so I like it. They've bushed out more, so I think they look better. And I'll end up getting more bell peppers from doing that. These okra are just, I mean, look at this. This is taller than me. Let me see if I can get any in here. So here I am. That's just insane. And a ton of them. And it's really healthy. They're really not being plagued by bugs too much. They're just an overall healthy plant. Very tall. And I've learned my lesson that you do not plant okra this close together. There are 6 of them and way too close. I've had to trim leaves and stuff to get them to fit in the space, and they probably would have given me more had I not had to do that. My Asian long beans are doing very well. They're starting to get tired. You can tell by the yellowing of the leaves, but they're still producing well. I've given several to people like at work and whatnot that have never had them, and they really like them. So I always enjoy doing that. I try to plant stuff I've never had before. You know, something different. You never know. You either like it or you don't. This would be considered full grown, full size, or whatever, mature. I tend to like them a little bit smaller. They don't tend to be quite so tough. I like them more like this. And then if you let them go to seed, which I've got one down here that I am letting go to seed, it looks like this. You can see it's all very large. I'm letting it dry on the vine, and then I'll get those seeds so I can plant them again next year. My eggplant are finally starting to get some eggplants on them. Yay! Look at that. Aren't they pretty? They're beautiful. These are Oswald. Let me see. Where's my little tag here? I can find one that's not. Here we go. ASWAD. Aswad eggplant. Aswad. I'm probably not saying it correctly. But anyway, I've got 3 of them. And you know, the flowers kept drying up, and I really think it's because they weren't being pollinated. And then those sunflowers got big enough to start drawing in the bees, and now I've got eggplant on them. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Terry dog, what are you doing? So I got some peas planted and they're starting for the fall crop. I had peas in the summer and I had a pretty decent crop. So I thought I would put in some more and get just a little bit more in my pantry. And then I planted some more long beans. Same thing I've got up there. So if you plant these, as they're growing, they put out these little tentacles, these runners, I guess. I'm trying to say some fancy word. Just basically, you just keep it wound up where you're wanting it to go and train it like you would any kind of vine. And they'll climb, and before you know it, they're huge. But you got to really watch it because they grow so fast. Like this one down here. Yesterday, it didn't even have the runner, and now it's already, see, it's already grown. So, I mean, they grow so fast you can visibly watch them grow. Now, on those, I did not prune. I didn't know you should. And so they're just a hot mess on the top. You can see them all bundled and jumbled, and you have to dig the beans out of them. So this go around with these, I'm going to prune them. Of course, they'll go all the way up. The peas only go about halfway up the trellis on that side, so they'll be able to pretty much have the whole trellis. But I'm going to keep them pruned back and see if I can see a difference in production as far as one versus the other. It'll at least look cleaner. My banana peppers, they are doing well. Finally starting to take off. Got some good sized peppers on here. I did 1 jar of pickled banana peppers. That's all I had to do, enough to do last weekend. Again, if you have a recipe, if you'd give me the link or put it down there, I'd really appreciate it, because that's something I've not grown before. I love them. I've eaten them over and over, but I've never grown them. And I like them like, you know, the Subway banana wax peppers or whatever. That's what I want them to taste like, but I'm not real sure the other recipe. I planted some more Purple Queen beans. So they're starting to bud. Or get some more of those. I really like those. These Purple Queen and the Dragon Tongue, they say bush beans. And from what I'm seeing, they really aren't. They're more of a runner. I think next year I'll probably use like those tomato cages to hold them up, because they tend to fall over and get a tangled mess. These are turnips, and I have, that bird is mad. I have never had them. So one of the guys I work with said that he really likes them. So I thought, well, I'm going to plant some and try them. And I thinned them out more through there. I haven't thinned them out down here or along the side yet. They're still really bushy, but they're getting to be pretty good size. Asparagus. OMG. I have asparagus over here that really never did well, and I didn't realize, but they are still producing small asparagus. And this is only the 3rd year. And you know, your 3rd year, you don't really harvest. Or you can harvest a few here and there, but you really want to let them go like this to seed and really build that root system. I have 2 different kinds. I have the purple and the green. So I'm interested to see if they will end up cross-pollinating and come up with some kind of, maybe I'll get like purple and green striped. That'd be kind of cool. Here's my original asparagus patch, which you can see is not very good. I don't think it didn't like where I had planted it, and it never has done very well, which is why I went ahead and put them there. If you grow asparagus, you want to make sure that you give it a, what you'd call a designated bed, because they're perennials. They come back year after year, and the patch will go for 20, 25 years. So you don't want to put it somewhere where you're, oh, I'll put them there this year, then next year move them. You're not going to want to be moving them. My roses, looking very healthy. They were in desperate need of water. It's amazing because rainwater, there's just nothing like it. You can water all day long, and they can get 1/4 of an inch of rainwater and do 10 times better than if you just watered them with regular hose water. So it's always better. My Brussels sprouts are sad. something has eaten them like crazy, but they're still putting on the Brussels sprouts. They're getting bigger. And then I noticed, look at that, it's growing all new. The head of it, if you will, is growing back. So maybe whatever ate it. I just had a lot of Japanese beetles for a while. I'm thinking maybe that's what got to them. But they're putting on decent sized Brussels sprouts. I, again, like them smaller than what you, like if you buy them in the store, I don't like them quite as big. I think they get bitter. So I tend to get them a lot smaller. That's the beauty of growing your own. You can determine the size of the vegetable you want to eat, whether you want it to be full grown, large, small and tender. It's yours. Replanted zucchini here. And then I've got, I think two squash plants, I think, over there where that volunteer tomato plant is. You know, I've had such trouble with squash bugs that everyone says plant them in the fall. You don't have them because the life cycle of the squash bug is over with. And so I'm going to try and grow them now. And if it's successful, I probably will not even bother growing them in the spring anymore because I'm just tired of fighting it. I have turnips, which have been plagued by bugs, as you can see. But I do have some growing here and there. There's a few. I kind of interlaced them in between the marigolds and the eggplant and whatnot. There's a few coming up. I think I planted them a little bit too early. So I might try and plant them again. I'm not sure. Fall gardening. It's still a mystery to me. This is my first year doing it. And I'm still really not sure of when to plant things, what things will be good in fall garden. You know, I find myself like just kind of putting something here and putting something there, and oh, there's an empty spot, I'll stick this here, or, you know, because things are still growing from the spring or through the summer, and so I'm like, okay, so they'll be done. And then I can start this one, and by the time it gets to be a certain size, those will be finished. And then that's not the case. Or the plants that I think will still be going end up dying, or, you know, so it's really trial and error. So if you're new to gardening, or even if you've been doing it a long time, you know, a lot of it is you just try it and see, and then the next year you go, well, that didn't work, now I'm going to try this. Or, you know, I liked how I did this, but I don't like this part. Like my bell peppers, for example. They're not really bells, I guess, but I would have never a few years ago topped the plants because I thought, oh God, I'm going to kill them. But I wanted them to be fuller, so I knew topping it would force that to fill out, and I knew when I did that I wouldn't be getting any fruit for a while until the plant filled out, and then I'd start getting more. That's something that I've learned over the years. So, you know, if you're not sure, how much did you spend on a seed? You know, it's when it comes down to it, the knowledge is so much more worth it than the, you know, 5 cents each seed, or even if you spend $5 for a pack of seeds, which, you know, is kind of expensive, but when you think about seeds, but still, you know, you learn something, you try again the next year, or you plant this variety, like the dragon tongue beans. I like them, but I probably won't grow them again because I don't like how they cook up. They seem to get really soft, and I don't want a mushy bean. The long beans, I really like them, but I will plant them differently next year. I like the banana pepper, so I'll probably plant more of those. You know, okra, don't know if I'll plant it again. If I do, definitely won't be 6 in that very little tiny space. Love the sunflowers. Won't plant them in the bed again next year. I'll plant them probably on the side so they grow up where they're at, but not inside the bed. I didn't realize just how thick that stalk was going to be and how giant the plant was going to be. But definitely planting sunflowers because I like how it drew in the bumblebees and the pollinators, which, you know, tend to not be around as much this time of year. So, or at least that's the way it's been in my garden in the past. And And maybe that's because I didn't really plant any new plants by this time. You know, the garden's starting to tire out and I'm tired of it, you know. So experiment. That's all I gotta say is just experiment. Try different things, and what you like you repeat, what you don't like you don't do again. So hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I try to put on a garden video tour every week, although like I said, I haven't done one in a few weeks. I just felt like I was being pretty repetitive. I'm going to be doing a couple videos here coming up. I'm going to figure out how I want to put them on there, but keep an eye on that. If you click that little bell, it'll give you a notification and tell you when I put another video up. So until next time, stay safe, stay happy, and happy gardening.